Good morning. Welcome to Just for Today, a time of eclectic reading, sharing of perspectives, meditation, and prayer. I'm Reverend Rafe Ellis, Senior Minister and Spiritual Leader of the newly joined Centers for Spiritual Living Communities of Greater Baltimore and Columbia. Today is October 17th. And this morning I'm reading from the Science of Mind magazine, March 2023. And I opened it up to page 67 to an article titled Cultivation of the Inner World. And I'm going to read the first two paragraphs of this and we'll see what comes up. Within all resides fertile soil that embraces the seeds deposited by the mind by way of thoughts, self-beliefs, and inspired ideas that fall or are intentionally sown into this creative soil. The soil of our inner world is impersonal and does not judge the seeds we consciously or unconsciously choose to plant in our inner gardens. Instead, it gracefully and joyfully empowers these seeds to germinate and blossom as experiences, whether positive or negative. That is a different way of articulating the essence of the Science of Mind teachings. The reference to the fertile soil is a reference to the activity of law, that doer within the creative process, that we understand the triune nature, the three aspects of the creative process. They're not three separate processes, they're three aspects of one process. And so soil is the law, just like the soil in your garden. You put a seed in there, and the law of creation germinates that seed and grows, and whatever is in that seed is what grows. I apologize for the barking over here in the canine geriatric center right beside me. We'll just navigate through that. But ultimately, the activity of law just germinates and grows whatever seed we plant. And I love that, the article is specific to conscious or unconscious, because a lot of our beliefs are generational beliefs that have just been handed from one generation to the other unexamined. And because of that generational handoff, we have always known it to be that way. And so the invitation is for us to actually explore, is this true? Right? Because truth is what truth is. And it's a beautiful thing because it always reflects back to us what we're actually thinking and believing, whether we're aware of it or not. And so we get to take that into our time of meditation to maybe be aware of some beliefs that we have that we're unaware that we have. And then we're at a point of choice about what we want to do with those. So let's take that. I'm going to read it one more time and we'll take that into our meditation. Within all resides fertile soil that embraces the seeds deposited by the mind by way of thoughts, self-beliefs, and inspired ideas that fall or are intentionally sown into this creative soil. The soil of our inner world is impersonal and does not judge the seeds we consciously or unconsciously choose to plant in our inner gardens. Instead, it gracefully and joyfully empowers these seeds to germinate and blossom as experiences, whether positive or negative. So let's take that into our meditation. And so I recognize that there is one power that is everywhere present, one power that is the very energy, the very substance, the unnameable, unlimitable essence of life itself. That it is life as we know it in this human realm, expressing as form, never separate from itself, known by many, many names, and yet no singular name, no concept can fully encompass all that it is. It is the great I am that I am, the great mystery, God, higher power, life, love, peace, power, whatever we call it. It is that and so much more. And I know that this one creates out of itself to express itself. One substance expressing an infinite possibility and yet never separate from itself. Never used up or depleted in any way by the multiplicity of its expression, but rather expanded. And I know that I am that in form. And so the creative process that it is must be fully present in, through, and as me, because I am made of it. So all that it is instantly, continuously, unavoidably available and operating as me. And what is true of me is true of every form of creation and everything that surrounds this form. The formed and the formless, the seen and the unseen, the known and the unknown, the recognized and the unrecognized. And that the activity within this creative process is continuous, never filtering what it is given. It simply responds, yes, and makes it so. And so knowing this, I speak my word. I plant seeds in that soil of law, that humanity is awakening to its magnificence. That within each and every one of us is a growing awareness of the truth of our being. And as we know the truth of our individualized being, we know the truth of all being. That interconnectedness of life becomes palpable, becomes the path that we live into in greater and greater expressions and experience. That there is a recognition that everything we experience, good, bad, or indifferent, negative or positive, however we frame it, is a perfect reflection, a perfect growth, a perfect outpicturing of the seeds of thought planted in it, informing our choices to embrace, to continue, or to shift. And so I know that the word spoken is the word fulfilled. And so I celebrate that activity of law, that perfect activity of reciprocity that mirrors back. I release any idea of separation, that anything that I become aware of isn't mine. And as I own the wholeness of experience, I empower infinite possibility to change, to grow, to course correct. I let go of any resistance to the perfect fulfillment of law. I let go because I know it's already done and it's continuous. That done is the great misnomer in this language because it is simply continuing into eternity. Seed, soil, growth. Empowering us to be aware and to be intentional with what we plant, with the full confidence that it will grow, demonstrating to us what we actually planted. And we tend to this garden of consciousness with love and joy. Ashe. Shalom. Aho. Amin. Amen. And so it is. Namaste.